Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us that هَلْ يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَّا السَّاعَةِ, are they waiting for Judgment Day? فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا, can't they see the signs of Judgment Day have already come? The signs of Judgment Day have already come.
One of the first signs of Qiyamah is the mere fact that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sent as a final messenger. Why is this a sign of Qiyamah? Two things we learn from this. One is, not all the signs are bad news. Some of them are actually good news in themselves, but they have within them information or news that now the world is going to come to an end. If he is the final Nabi, we are fortunate that Allah sent to us someone to guide us. But at the same time, we need to realize there will be no Nabi after him, which means after him the world will come to an end. That is how it is considered a sign of Qiyamah. He says, بُعِثْتُ أَنَا وَالسَّاعَ كَهَاتَيْنِ, I have been sent myself and the hour as close as these two fingers, and he pointed with the first and second fingers together. And this hadith is appearing in Sahih al-Bukhari, narrated by Sahal ibn Sa'ad radiallahu anhu. And we need to know that that means I am so close to the hour. After me is going to be the hour. Before me, there were other prophets. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our offspring also from amongst those who will be following Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And may He make us from amongst those who do not solely pay lip service to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that we are followers, we are lovers, we follow him, we consider him a Nabi, and our lives are heading in a different direction altogether. May Allah protect us.
And our Prophet ﷺ said, hadith is in Sahih Muslim, that your example, you, O Ummah of Prophet ﷺ, your example of the time that you have compared to the times of the Ummahs before you is like that of a person who has prayed Asr and he's waiting for Maghrib, and that will be Judgment Day. You are the people that have prayed Asr and are waiting for Maghrib. Everybody else prayed Fajr, Dhuhr, whatnot. The previous Ummahs were way before you. The time slot between Asr and Maghrib is the shortest. We barely pray Asr, before we know it, it's Maghrib time. So the Prophet said, your example, O Ummah, is like of the man who prayed Asr and he's done with Asr, he's just waiting for Maghrib. And the previous Ummahs, they are the previous Salawat. And therefore, the Judgment Day and the signs of Judgment Day are something that make us waken up to the reality of actual Qiyamah. So, how do we categorize the signs of Judgment Day?
There are two types of signs of Qiyamah. Those which are considered the major signs and those which are considered the minor signs.
And where do we get this from? We get it straight from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, in that, in a number of authentic hadith, he explicitly mentioned that there are going to be 10 major signs of Judgment Day. So by mentioning 10 will be major, automatically this means the rest are going to be minor. Okay? So he is the one who brought forth this categorization. That he said there's going to be 10 kubra or kabir signs. And those ones are separate from the rest of them. So the hadith is in Sahih Muslim. The hadith is in Sahih Muslim that our Prophet ﷺ came across the Sahaba one day. They were sitting in the masjid. He came and they were having a heated discussion. So he said to them, what are you discussing? So they said, we are talking about when Qiyamah will happen. We're talking about making a guess, when will Qiyamah happen? So the Prophet ﷺ said, Qiyamah will not happen until you see its 10 signs. So now he said there are 10 signs that are directly linked to Qiyamah. There are 10 that are definitely in a different category. Qiyamah will not happen until you see its 10 signs. Then he mentioned them one by one, and I'm going to quickly list them now, and inshallah later on in our series we'll go over each one of them in a lot of detail. Number one, he said, the dukhan. Dukhan is a dust, smoke, smog. The dukhan. And this is not in order, we're going to mention this. This is just 10 that he said, they don't necessarily be in this order. Number 2, the Dajjal. And that is a long discussion, we'll talk about that. Number 3, the Dabba. And the Dabba is the beast. And he's mentioned in the Quran. وَإِذَا وَقَعَ الْقَوْلُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَخْرَجْنَا لَهُمْ دَابَّةً مِّنَ الْأَرْضِ تُكَلِّمُهُم. So this is in the Quran. There's something called the Dabba, or a beast. Number 4, the rising of the sun from the west. So the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. One day it will rise from the west. Number 5, نُزُولُ عِيسَى ibn Maryam. The coming down of Isa ibn Maryam. Okay, this is a specific incident, and that is not ambiguous at all, very clear. Number 6, Ya'juj and Ma'juj, and the coming of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Okay, that is a major sign, and we'll talk about them and some of the problems that are raised by this issue. We'll talk about it very frankly when we get to Insha Allah. Number 7, 8, and 9, 3 zalazil, 3 earthquakes that will shake the world. There's going to be major. This isn't a regional earthquake. These are earthquakes that essentially the world will know it is an earthquake. 3 zalazil that will shake the world. In one hadith, each next one will be bigger than the first one. So it's going to be 3 consecutive earthquakes that are, the whole world will know that there is an earthquake taking place. And then he said, وَآخِرُهُنَّ, the last of these signs, number 10, the last of these signs is a blazing fire that will emanate in Yemen and will force the people towards Ard al-Mahshar, or the land of resurrection, the land of resurrection. And that will be the end of humanity in that one place, which is going to be in Bilad al-Sham. In another hadith he said, anytime one of these 10 comes, expect the other to come immediately after. So these 10 are like dominoes, one after the other. These 10, when the first one comes, khalas, the rest are going to follow very, very quickly. And the first of these 10, without a doubt, is the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. This is the first of these 10. And when Isa comes, the rest of these are going to come one by one, and that's it. Qiyamah will take place very shortly after the coming of Isa ibn Maryam. And the last of the minor signs links the first of the major signs. The last of the minor signs is the coming of the Mahdi. The coming of the Mahdi is the last of the minor signs. And the Mahdi will be alive and will interact with the first of the major signs, and that is who? Isa ibn Maryam. So, the Mahdi and the Isa will coexist at the same time, same place, interact with one another, and it is literally as if the minor is coming to an end and the major is beginning, and then that's it, the rest will go from there until Qiyamah. So, for the rest of today, and Insha Allah, our next lecture, we'll be discussing some of the primary minor signs.